Up now, we have Why Before AI, a success framework for outcome-driven innovation. Your speaker today is Tula Schieber. Tula?
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be here. And today we're going to talk about why before AI. I'm Tula Schieber. I am the CEO of market research company Schieber Research, and we help companies understand trends and new channels and technology to launch successful innovation platforms and growth strategies. So everyone is talking about AI. There is a lot of hype. Of course, there's a side to AI, which is not consumer facing, regarding supply chain, generative AI in design. I am not going to talk about that today. Today, I'm going to talk about how and if we should actually, okay, I'm gonna take this. If we are going to implement AI in our products and services that apply to consumers. So who's afraid of AI? By show of hands, yes. If you saw Child's Play, you could be a little reluctant to use AI, especially if you watch the makeover. That is, the remake with the AI Chucky. That was scarier than the first movie. But today's AI are hopefully better friends and maybe less murderous than the yesteryear AI friends. Still, there's a lot of companies that are afraid of AI today. And the reason is that we see a lot of hype and a lot of high profile launches, but not a lot of success stories. And we want to understand why. There is a very simple framework that I'm going to present that is going to help you understand why we need to launch AI or why we shouldn't, and how we should do that in an effective way. So AI-powered toys are indeed everywhere. It's not just the hype or the buzzword. Because according to FMI, the AI toy market, as it pertains to ages 0 to 12, so I'm not talking about other demos that I'm going to touch later, is going to quadruple in the next decade. So from $2.2 billion to $8.5 billion. So indeed, there is a lot of launches and there should be a lot of money. And why? Because we see a lot of opportunities in AI. There is a booming demand for personalized toys and educational toys. AI can help you achieve differentiation in competitive markets, and it enhances learning and engagement. These are things that we are aware of. But when we take these into consideration, we should also look at the challenges. For example, privacy and security. Nobody wants a spy in their kid's teddy bear, right? We want to balance the tech with play value. When was the last time any of you heard a kid saying, "I love this toy because of the AI"? Probably never. And we want to understand exactly what is driving people to buy toys and to understand if AI can enhance that. And finally, and that's the biggest thing, is the development costs and the pricing challenges. If we are going to launch the best product, but it's going to be at a price point that isn't attainable, it's not going to work. And what we want to understand is that toys have jobs. So according to the jobs to be done theory, anyone heard of that? If not, okay, I'm very happy to introduce you to this theory. The jobs to be done theory says that people don't just buy products, they pull them into their lives to make progress. In other words, we hire products and services to make our lives better, to achieve a specific outcome. And when we look at the jobs to be done theory, we ask who are the consumers and what are they trying to accomplish. So the jobs to be done framework is something like, I want to, the desire or motivation, when, the situation or the context so that I can what is the outcome or result without pain constraint. Do you know who the toy consumer is in this regard? Who are we looking at when we ask these questions? Who are some demos that you can think of? I would suggest kids and parents, right? And they hire products to do different things. So when we look at the jobs to be done, kids hire toys for things like, maybe, by the way, if you have anything else to add, please feel free. But generally, we talk about entertainment, engagement, fun, imagination, comfort, support, competition, and learning. Do you have any other jobs that toys do for kids that you want to add? Okay. And on the other hand, parents have other things in mind. So they can hire toys for education and development, for spending time alone or together with their kids. But they also have that added value or wishes for safety and quality, and of course, value for money. We can see that in one of the top selling toys that you all know, Hot Wheels. You can see on the website how they show the kid playing and using their imagination. And for the parents, they market it around, the psychological aspects of learning, the growth mindset. So they really cater to two different consumers and they understand the job. And when we are looking at jobs to be done, I see that people are taking photos, so I'm leaving it on. Going to the next slide. When we look at the jobs to be done that we just talked about, we know that there is an opportunity for AI because we look at personalization, interaction, emotional engagement, and feedback. All of these can be achieved by AI. And for parents, they can track the progress and monitor, and they can see how well their kid is doing and learning new skills. But we have to remember that AI isn't just about adding features because all the cool kids are doing it. We have to enhance the core values and, of course, not add any new barriers that might actually, turn our huge investment into a flop. So here are some considerations. We talked about consumers being kids and parents, but we can also look at some more niche markets maybe. For example, older adults. This is a kind of a demo that the toy industry is not really catering to right now, and not only the toy industry. This is an industry with very specific needs that a lot of industries are overlooking. And for example, we know about Alexa that had Alexa Together. They used both AI and IoT, and it actually shut down in 2024. But now there's a company that is called Joy for All. Do you know about it? Anyone from Joy for All? Yes. Are you from the company or you know about it? You know about it. So Joy for All is really remarkable. They make AI cats and dogs. So these are animals that feel like they are real live animals that purr and they respond to petting and everything. And you see videos of senior people that cannot take care of an actual animal because it's also for safety reasons and other reasons. And this is something that really creates bonding and feedback. Another very relevant consumer group is neurodivergent kids. And you probably heard about Moxie, right? Moxie was one of the examples of a great execution, but terrible pricing. Moxie was about education and new skills for neurodivergent kids. It helped people really communicate with neurodivergent kids. And the problem was that it was priced at $800, and that's before the subscription. So they just closed, shut down very recently because of lack of funding. Yes? Pardon? I can't hear. Moxie didn't have what? Subscription? I'm pretty sure that they did, because I mean, if you're from Moxie, and I for sure stand corrected if not. But are you? So from what I saw, people online were complaining that they, paid for the doll, and they exactly. Okay, so you're saying that there was no subscription. Still, $800 is a big price, a huge price point. And of course, when they shut down, this is something that scares people, because, if the thing is, even if you don't pay for a subscription, the doll wouldn't operate if you don't have content. And so another consideration that brings us to the alternatives and pricing. So if we look at the job to be done, for example, help me entertain and enrich my kids without my constant supervision, we see that we have, the Miko 3 that is priced at $250 and for sure has subscription. But I can also give them the Amazon Fire tablet. Basically, Miko is kind of a tablet that is walking with a robot. So there is that alternative. And again, do I actually add enough value for the consumer for this job that would justify that price point and subscription? Another consideration, and you gotta look at that, because I had a good laugh about that. Mattel really thought of a brilliant idea, I have to say. How to do fun family time and friendly competition with an unbiased judge. So it's not my siblings can't really tell what I drew because they're stupid. It's more of the AI said, and artificial intelligence, they know everything. But in this case, this is something that I got from the reviews that are really, really low on the website. The cat is a cow, the bulb is a mouse, and the house is also a cow. So if the execution is flawed, then people are going to get annoyed, and it really defeats the purpose. Although, again, the idea is amazing. But sometimes we really want to be first to market, so we jump in and we don't really hone on the execution, which could be a problem. So here is a very simple framework for implementation next time you decide to launch something. And the first thing to do is to define the job. So again, you'd say, I want to, the desire, when, what's the context, what's the situation, where is it? And then in the case of AI or any technology, we ask, can AI do it better? Or can it remove existing barriers? If it can, let's proceed. If it cannot, AI isn't needed. So next we'll say, if we implement it, will it create new barriers? Can implementing be done without creating new barriers? And if we cannot, don't AI. If we can, go for it. Let's look at a few examples just to examine the framework before we finish. Hello, Barbie. So Barbie would be something like, I want to create imaginative stories when playing with dolls. And can AI do it better? Maybe. I mean, it could enhance the engagement and the storytelling that we heard so much about at the previous panel. But does it create new barriers? For sure. First of all, it could limit the imaginative play because we have just specific scenarios. And second, and that's a real problem, is the privacy and the security concerns. So probably don't implement AI, keep it non-AI. Another example is Hot Wheels that we discussed before. And the jobs to be done would be, I want to create exciting race scenarios when playing with cars. Can AI do it better? So again, if we talk about the cars, we don't want to limit the kids' aspirations and imaginations and creativity, right? But we could implement AI in the track. And the track could analyze, what you did well and what you could improve, and maybe give you ideas, and maybe just benchmark against other kids, or allow you to monitor and track. So there is an opportunity there. And are there new barriers? Probably not if it's in the tracks. So yes, maybe consider implementing AI in the design of the track. And finally, teddy bears. My kids are, I think, like their bed is full of plushies and jelly cats and whatnot. And when I ask them, why do you spend all of your hard-earned allowance on teddy bears and plushies? And they told me, because it's cute. There is really no other reason. It's cute. Cute does not need AI. I want to feel emotionally secure when I'm alone would be the way to say, why cute is justifiable for spending all of your allowance on a plushie. Will AI make it better? I think not, but if you think that emotional comfort could make, through AI could be better, then maybe yes. New barriers, again, privacy concerns, but mostly the price point, because we have Build-A-Bear and we have a lot of other alternatives for bears and plushies to be personalized without AI. So if this won't justify the price point, we probably shouldn't implement AI. And that's it. So before just saying all the cool kids are doing it, let's launch AI. Let's think, how can we use AI in a way that really benefits the consumer and achieves the outcome that our consumer wants. So thank you very much. I'm open to questions, and of course I can meet you afterwards as well. This is my number if you want to discuss further any trends and innovation. Any questions? Yes. I think.
Thank you. So you commented the Pictionary versus AI, and we're the actual developers of that game. And you're right. Initially, when we launched the game, it was done in about a couple of months. But the training has changed now. It's a web app, so that's the thing. You don't have to download anything. So in about 4 months after launch, we were able to deploy a new AI, and I bet you to propose those drawings to the AI that we have now, it's gonna answer properly.
Amazing. So again, the implementation is key. And do consumers give you another chance after they saw the reviews and they probably think that the AI is not good enough?
They still own the physical product, so I do believe that but the thing with the web is you don't rate the app on the App Store or the iOS, so therefore it's harder to see the tracking. But we don't have any bad answers anymore, so.
Do you have, at least on the direct-to-consumer aspect, the ability
we're the developers, so
to email them and tell them we
Mattel, so we wouldn't know the exact numbers of everything.
Right.
We're the developers behind it. Well,
yes.
but yeah.
Yes, I would assume that if this is done, then it should be communicated to shoppers that already, own the product, because it's probably lying somewhere and they're like not gonna touch it anymore. And it sounds like that's, that they should pick it up again.
I hope for.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I'm very happy to learn about that. Any other questions? Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for the information.